her. That it's just stupendous. So next we're going to move on to a presentation from two of the officers of iDiversity. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a really innovative student group that's part of our college, the College of Information Studies. iDiversity focuses on doing projects for libraries, for the university, for community groups, trying to improve inclusion in information. And this is a group of students doing really important activities, many of which won't get done otherwise. And we're hoping this idea, which is now 3 years old here, starts to spread to other iSchools, other LIS programs. And you're going to learn some of the really cool things they're doing. Erin, Zerhusen, and Fiona, Jardine are two current MLS students. They both work on campus, and they're both really not just doing this as a service thing, they're also both invested in this as young scholars. Fiona's had a number of papers published in the last year on diversity issues, including a really cool one in Public Library Quarterly about 6 months ago. Plug. And Erin has a paper that she's going to be sending out soon on how libraries can actually help deal with human trafficking issues. So these are people doing really cool things. So.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Erin Zerhusen. I am the current president of iDiversity here at University of Maryland. And this is Fiona Jardine. She is our current vice president. So as Paul kind of just stole all my thunder, iDiversity is a graduate student organization here at University of Maryland. We were founded in January of 2012, so we're just over 2 years old, by Rebecca Oxley, who's gotten many shout outs today. So throughout our brief presentation, we'll try to keep it quick. We're going to tell you a little bit about who we are, for those of you who weren't at the Symposium last year. Talk to you about events that we put on, our move towards a project-based club, what we've learned and problems we've encountered, and then the exciting how-to that we've put together. And so throughout this presentation, we want you to keep in mind that this was just started here 2 years ago by one person who had a vision and a dream to do this and the will to work really hard. And so for everybody who's coming from non-University of Maryland campuses, you should definitely be inspired to start something like this, and you've put together something that we hope can help you as best as possible. So we host things, we host panel events, we have discussions, we have open meetings and chats. We help manage projects that are both on-campus projects and community-based projects. And this year we've actually gone into a focus on collaborating with other student organizations that are through the iSchool, because we think that it is important to not have a club about diversity be segregated and its own thing. So we wanted to work with everybody else who were doing things that were relevant to all of the students and explain how diversity issues or being able to promote your diversity skills and awareness, these kinds of things, how they're important. And I guess another thing to mention is that our events and projects are open to anybody. You don't have to be an iDiversity member to attend any of the things that we do. So just a brief little snapshot. This is the front page of our website. We promote our mission heavily. This is the first thing you see when you go onto our website. We aim to promote awareness of diversity, inclusivity, and accessibility within the information professions. Our vision, our vision is longer. I won't read it to you, but we have a vision for within our school and for the profession, the LIS professions in general. We want to do everything that people are talking about today. We want to advocate for change and see it through. So this year, we put on a number of events. We had Our most recent event was an Information and Human Rights panel. We have a class taught here at the iSchool called Information and Human Rights, so it was not only a plug for Dr. Yeager's class that is being taught in the fall, but also in hopes to just get students who aren't in the information and diverse population specialization here on campus to learn about these issues and why they permeate everywhere. We had an accessibility chat with Patrick Timoney, who works in the accessibility division at the MLK branch of DCPL, the DC Public Library. We co-hosted the Supreme Court Library Tour. We, with all of the other student organizations, have been working on these career development workshops. And so, as I mentioned before, the resume and interview workshop, we had a bunch of professionals from the field come in and speak with students on a one-on-one basis about their resumes and how they can promote the skills that they have. And so we made sure that there were people who can say, you took an IDP class here on campus, or you were a part of this. So how do I market that? How do I make somebody who's not in this room understand that that's important and that this is marketable? We are hosting in 2 weeks a conferences 101 panel discussion. We were hoping to have a networking panel, but that unfortunately fell through the year. We've also found that book and bake sales are really great for raising funds because we are not associated with any kind of national chapter, so any money that we want, we have to raise. So for this year, as I mentioned, we switched from being an events-based organization to a project-based organization. We decided that graduate students, have trouble getting places sometimes. So that having an ongoing project might be more effective than a one-off, be here for this hour and a half and then you can learn. So we have 4 projects going on. We have an information literacy mentorship program, a little free library project, curriculum development project, and a volunteering project. We'll talk about all of those in more depth. So arguably our largest project is we have the information literacy mentorship program. We, the iSchool, have partnered with the University of the District of Columbia, UDC, where current iSchool graduates and current iSchool graduate students and alums work with undergrad students to teach them information literacy skills. We find a lot of people who are, still at the university level, the freshman, the sophomore college level, are really lacking these skills that they now very much need to have. So we were able to convince Research Ready, which is an information literacy information literacy assessment tool, to let us beta test their product. So we are not paying them to use it, but we are telling them how well we think it works. So we are able to give one-on-one instruction to students who opt in to work with us. It is not anything that's required through UDC, but we have very good turnaround. People seem to really like it, which is great. If you happen to see in the back, we have a little free library that was just built on Sunday. It is our first one and it's very exciting. In case any of you don't know what it is, Little Free Library is an organization that is working to build these dollhouse-sized structures to work on a take a book, leave a book policy. They want to promote the love of reading, especially in places that might not have easy access or close access, whatever, to a library or another place where they could get these books. iDiversity started building them in hopes of putting them in areas of lower socioeconomic status or places that are far away from libraries. So we are looking right now for a place to put that one. If you have an idea, please come talk to me. We were thinking that we would put it in the DMV area, the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. However, if you happen to look at the back of it, we suspect this one should go in Maryland because it looks like this on the back. And a shout out, because these 2 of them are in the room, to Julie Brown and Jonathan Purcell for helping with all of the Little Free Library. And just to embarrass myself one final time, when having to talk in front of people, here is me building it over the weekend in beautiful weather. I'll turn it over to Fiona.
In my backyard, in fact.
Yes.
So as Erin said, I'm the current VP of iDiversity, but I'm also heading up this particular project, which is the curriculum development project. The idea is that diversity can be embedded in every single iSchool course. There is no course that cannot have diversity somewhere in it. But we have seen that there's a need for those resources to be able to put them in the curricula for these classes, because some people, it's not their specialization, they haven't had the background in it. So our idea was to start particularly with the core courses here at UMB, and go through each syllabus for each of the core classes to begin with, and look where we can put diversity into it. So this is primarily a resource for instructors to use, so that they can really just take the resources, take the talking points that we've created, and just plug them into their curricula. Today, we go live with our very first class, which is, here it's 602, which is Serving Information Needs. It's sort of the introductory course. It covers a lot of the sort of theory and practices. And although we're going along with the courses here at Maryland, I think that there's a real opportunity for everybody to be able to use this website, because we've structured it in such a way that we've explained each topic as we go. So, and I say we because we are in a team, and again, we have more people in the room. So we have Diane over there and Jonna as well, and another person, Brittany, who's been also working on it. So, without further ado, let's see if I can get this to... This is the website, and the link to it will be on iDiversity's main website. And here we sort of explain a little bit about the purpose and how to use it. And then you'll see, if we go into here, we explain kind of what this course is about. So if you're not from UMB, you can kind of look at the course descriptions and find the one that fits the course that you're teaching. And then we've created for each topic talking points to do with diversity and suggested readings. Not necessarily readings that we would give, that we would recommend giving to the class, but ones that we feel instructors would really benefit from reading. And maybe that would give them inspiration and to talk about those diversity issues in class, because they've had a little bit of this background that maybe they weren't sort of naturally inclined to include, just because that's not their background. So we will be working on all the core courses as we go ahead. And I really would love everybody's feedback on this. There is a place at the bottom of this, see how long this one is, right? So this is the resource that we've created. And at the bottom, when we get there, there is a place to leave a comment, or there's also our email address on the site. And if you have any more resources that you think would fit, we would love it. We are not like the be-all and end-all of this topic. We know that we're just students and we don't know everything out there. So yeah, and so that's a project that is sort of an ongoing project that we started this year. So it's very exciting. I'm back to the presentation. So the last project that we've started this year is a volunteering project. And this really is different from the required field study or any internship, because we're looking at sort of specific goal-oriented projects where you can go in for a day, perhaps one weekend. So Maryland Day is the big day here on campus where we showcase everything. There's going to be volunteers from this project there talking about libraries and books and all that kind of good stuff. And then the community college library reading, right? It's like something that maybe, can save them a little bit of money, or, get people talking to each other about these kinds of issues. So that's another project. So very briefly, the things that we have learned this year particularly, obviously as a student organization, we keep developing. We have a new executive board every year. We learn different things. We want to try and pass that information and that knowledge on. So website troubles, not really troubles, but just, a word of advice, don't make them too complicated or too customized. Because the next person might not know how to deal with that. So just make it simple. I mean, our website's really pretty, but really it's a place for information. We're not trying to be sort of like design winners. The other thing is, because of all of our crazy busy schedules, we've had a reliance on technology to be able to meet. I think, you know, we've been moving away from in-person meetings towards like Google Hangout meetings, that kind of thing. Again, as Erin said before, we've had less focus on passive activities like, you know, panel events and that kind of thing, because we found that although they're really interesting and rich, people want something that they can kind of, you know, get their teeth into, perhaps put on their CV, perhaps get some connections. So that's where we'd be moving. The other thing is that, while those projects are pretty good, they do need to have someone on the executive board, so we have that line of communication open between the people running the project, so we're not necessarily on the executive board, and us, so we can, you know, connect people and let people know what we're doing. And like I said, each exec board has a different focus, so maybe next year we'll, you know, go in a slightly different direction, who knows. And the last one, really important, okay? Super important. Bake sales go even better if you take credit cards, so find someone with a Square reader or a PayPal reader, and sell juice boxes. Graduate students love juice boxes. Okay, who knew? And if you can find someone to create unicorn cupcakes, that's even better. Okay, so we put all of this knowledge that we've you know, accumulated for the past couple of years into a huge how-to document, because we do not want to be the exclusive club. We want every single iSchool to have a student organization to do with diversity, doing projects like this, holding events like this. Whether or not they're called iDiversity, they can use the name, we don't care. They don't have to use the name. Maybe there's a cooler name out there, I don't know. So we created this guide so students in other places could read through and see what we did, how we did it, and how they can do it too. So we welcome your feedback on it. Again, this is going to be posted up on our website as a PDF. It's a pretty long document, but please share it with all your students on your listservs. Get people interested. If people have questions to us, please let them, you know, get them in touch with us. So this is just a brief, you know, at the beginning of this is half of the table of contents. There's more, and I don't know why there are exclamation points. That's really bizarre. They weren't when I put this in yesterday. I don't know, they suddenly appeared. It's very exciting. They're excited about being in the how-to guide. So this is our you know, our how-to guide, and we've included our mission and vision and how to write a constitution and some of the other things we've learned, and a little checklist at the end that's really excited to be on Lucky 13. So please go ahead, take a look at it, give us your feedback. Oh, please, yes.
Just one thing, because Fiona mentioned that we are happy for you to use the name iDiversity. We have a request. You don't have to follow it, can't do anything if you don't. If you call yourselves iDiversity, we request that you have the same mission. We want, you know, we would like for there to be some consistency in our branding, and so you can have a different vision, do what you want, but, you know, we want to keep that consistent. Again, I can't do anything if you don't, but that is our request.
It's a pretty cool mission. I mean, you know, and we did the work for you, so why would you change it? I don't know. So this is just a way to find us. We're online. All of those things that we've been nattering on about for the past 10 minutes, 20 minutes are on our website, so please go check it out. Again, our you know, email is open to all and any questions. We can't promise we'll answer them, or be able to answer them, but we will reply. And then we also have a Twitter feed, which we, you know, put sort of updates on and things like that. We also have tons of business cards, so if you would like this information in the form